Now, for further analysis, I'd like to welcome Ciaran Browne. He joins us live from Belfast. He's an associate professor of conflict resolution and reconciliation at Trinity College, Dublin. Thank you so much for being with us on the program today, sir. I want to get your thoughts on the strikes between Lebanon and Israel, because no one has yet claimed responsibility for the strikes out of Lebanon yet.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, as always. Sending my solidarity and strength to everybody who's facing this horrendous situation. It's obviously very, very serious. I mean, as your previous reporter has pointed out there, I mean, this is an escalation that hasn't really taken place in quite a while on the southern Lebanese border. And the potential for this to escalate is really quite significant. And of course, we should bear in mind that when our attention is gazed towards South Lebanon, the Israelis attacked the Gaza Strip last night and bombed the Gaza Strip as they do routinely, and people were injured, infrastructure was damaged. So it really is a very serious situation, and it comes at a time when tensions are high, given the fact that it is Ramadan, given the fact that it is Passover and Easter week coming presently as well, all in Jerusalem. So things are pretty tense, as you can imagine.
So do you think the exchange of fire, the recent exchange of fire, is due to the Israeli raids that have been conducted within the Aqsa Mosque compound?
I have no doubt that is a contributing factor here. Al-Aqsa, as your viewers will know, and everybody knows, is an extremely significant space for the Muslim world, and any attack on that will trigger a response. I mean, some of the images of the Israeli forces, of the Israeli police beating worshippers inside Al-Aqsa Mosque were absolutely abhorrent, and they're going to bring about a reaction. But we should also add as well, I mean, the Netanyahu government in Israel is clinging on by a hair's breadth, by its teeth. I mean, we've seen the internal disruption within Israeli society as well when it comes to protests on the street, etc., etc. So there's nothing more distracting and nothing better for an Israeli government under pressure than to be presented as under threat. And so this will be taken as an opportunity.
You mentioned that you are expecting things to escalate, violence to escalate in the region. And we do have Israel's most far-right government leading the country right now, with one of its ministers being known for his racist rhetoric towards Palestinians, Itamar Ben-Gvir. Where do you see this leading to?
I mean, that's the million-dollar question. I mean, as you rightly pointed out, we have one of the most far-right governments ever in Israel at the moment. But of course, let's always remember that it's part of the same logic, the same idea, that is to expand and to grow. I mean, settlement expansion is happening apace on the ground, and infrastructure. You know, I've witnessed myself the way that expansion is happening on the ground. So I wouldn't want to predict where this is going to go, but it certainly doesn't look good. And you know, let's not forget about this as well. We have millions of Palestinians living under an apartheid regime, living under the most horrendous conditions in the West Bank, inside Israel, and also in the Gaza Strip as well. So, I mean, they should be the focus of our attention. The thing that needs to happen here is Israel needs to end the occupation, needs to stop its decades-long assault on the Palestinian people, pull back, and the international community needs to speak up like it does in other conflicts in other spaces around the world, needs to speak up. And what is very notable in its absence here is we have yet to hear anything from the Office of the Prosecutor at the International Criminal Court on any of the situation here. So perhaps we need to hear more from the international community as well, speaking up without fear of contradiction.
Indeed, as you mentioned, there are millions of Palestinians that have been living under this occupation for decades. And of course, Al-Aqsa has been a flashpoint of violence, as it is every year during Ramadan. I don't think anyone is surprised to see the scenes coming out of there. But while roaming on social media, it was really interesting to see the comments. And what I've been seeing a lot lately is people saying, well, Palestinians, maybe they should just give in. Why is that not okay?
I mean, it's just the most absurd thing to say, in my opinion. I mean, obviously we take social media with a pinch of salt, don't we? Everybody has an opportunity now to be an expert and put out their views. But I would flip that on its head, and I would say the Israeli government needs to give in and needs to realize that you cannot implement this type of regime against an occupied population. This is just simply unacceptable. You are a pariah. You risk being a pariah state. People need to see this for what it is. It's not about giving in. It's about allowing the Palestinian people their legitimate rights to self-determination, their legitimate rights to live with dignity, their legitimate rights to seek justice for decades of oppression against them. So I take that ultimately with a pinch of salt. Flip that completely on its head. The Israeli government needs to give in and get real to the situation on the ground, because Palestinians are not going anywhere and the resistance is very, very strong.
I'll end that on that note. Brendan, Ciaran Browne, thank you so much for joining us here on the News Hour and sharing that analysis with us.